have with us Anthony Smyth from Armis. Hello, sir. Welcome at the ETCISO SecureFest 2023, a 3-day residential in Kochi. What are your thoughts about the event and how do you see this event is important for CISO communities?
Yeah, thank you. It's been a fantastic event. I came in a few days ago from London. It's my second time in India, and I've had some fantastic conversations, spoke to a number of CISOs who are seeing a lot of the challenges that we're seeing globally, and they really understand the problems they need to solve.
Okay, and let's try and understand what does Armis do?
So Armis, essentially Armis equals asset is probably the soundbite to describe what we do. So we will automatically discover, identify, and categorize all of the connected assets in your environment. And this is a long-standing problem that has left gaps, security gaps that have been exploited for probably 20 years.
Okay, and now why has asset discovery and visibility been an unsolved problem for so long?
Yeah, as I was saying, 20 years, it's interesting that I think a lot of the industry and have gone after user-based attacks and protecting against user-based attacks, whether that's phishing. I think that that makes sense and that's correct. But if I'm presenting, often I'll hold one of these up and just say, look, in 2007, that changed people's expectations on devices, and we've seen a massive growth of devices way beyond the used to be, the beige box on a desktop, so you could see what those are. Now, the proliferation of devices has massively expanded the attack surface, and that realization has taken a long time for industry to realize they need to solve it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So how do you manage the whole attack risk?
So we make it easy for organizations to automatically and continuously identify, categorize, and understand the risks of their assets. Once they understand that and they know the risk, then they can manage the risk. If you can't manage what you don't know, if you don't know what's connected, how can you manage it? That's a risk that is a gap.
Okay. And why do you think that the connected asset based risk became a high profile cybersecurity issues in this era?
There's been a growing number of attacks over the last probably 5 years on healthcare institutes, on manufacturing institutes, and also in finance. These devices have been targeted. I think the user protection and the phishing education has been quite effective and has raised those barriers and made it perhaps harder for attackers to break in that route. So they've been going for the low-hanging fruit, the devices which are on the edge, but they're connected. If you pop one of those devices, break into it, and then laterally move, then you're inside the organization.
Okay, and what are the changes that you're seeing specifically in the organizations, and how exactly they're managing connected asset-based risk?
So we are seeing the realization of, partly driven by news stories and actual breaches. So this is right up at board level now. We know, speaking to CISOs and to chief risk officers, they need to address this risk. So the pressure on the cybersecurity folks is coming down from the top, and that is the key change. When change is driven from the top, then it actually happens.
Okay. And lastly, what challenges are OT functions in organization facing as they become more connected?
So it's interesting when you look at Industry 4.0, for example, which is a way for industrial processes to become more efficient. So it's about business efficiency. The devices that they're bringing in, SCADA, workstations, PLCs, are connecting back to over the internet to drive those efficiencies. But of course, that creates an attack surface. That means that those OT manufacturing plants are now connected in a way they weren't before, and that risk has got to be managed. But what a challenge we're seeing is the OT environment, the managers understanding the risk, and there's certainly change and challenge coming to those environments, and we're having those conversations and helping them learn and helping them prepare for that future.
Thank you so much for sharing all these insights with us, and thank you so much for talking to us. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day with us.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much.